Dutch YouTube gathering.
Okay, the last panel. So I would like to invite everybody back onto the stage or to the stage. The future of online video. And for that I would like to invite my panel guests to the stage. Maggie, Danny, David and Renato. Hello. Our first guest. Hold it. Up. One at a time. I want to introduce you guys. Okay, our first guest for today is Maggie. She's a media innovator and is one of the smartest minds I know around at my education. I do have to admit that. She's a media innovator, and whenever you want to pitch an idea, whenever you want to have feedback on an idea, or just want a unique, out-of-the-box view on an idea, you want to ask this lady because she is smart as hell, unique as hell, and just very fun to talk to. Our second guest for today is Danny, which is one of the most famous social media specialists in the Netherlands. I'll leave the rest of it up to you because I read it. I read the introduction on you and it was pages long. Man, you did a lot. Quite impressive. And of course, our two panel leaders, Renato and David. You can come up if you want to. I already introduced them. David is one of the biggest Dutch YouTube content creators and a very smart guy as well. Renato is one of the most innovative and also most entrepreneurial guys we have in the YouTube community. So Renato, bring it up. Can I get some applause for these guys? Ja. I want to start this panel off with a question. I'll go stand over here so you guys can get spotlight. I want to start this panel off with a question I want to ask all of you. Is a little introduction of yourself. David, do you want to start?
I think so. Yeah, okay. Sure. I'm David. I used to be a vlogger. No, actually, I still have a vlogging channel, but my main activities right now are gaming entertainment. And I think I own the largest Dutch-spoken gaming channel in the Netherlands. I just made YouTube my full-time career, and
congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Congratulations. Okay, thank you. Our second guest, Danny, please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Ilko. My name is Danny Mekic. I'm 26 years young or old, and I started doing voluntary work at the age of 12 at HetNet, which was one of the first internet providers in the Netherlands. I started learning making programs for the internet, designing. Without finishing my high school, I was admitted to the University of Amsterdam, where I did law science. Wow. Right now, I'm trying to understand the way internet and society develops and how they could support each other, but also, of course, what all the opportunities are for younger people now using technologies like YouTube to share their ideas and creativity. And I'm really proud that, again, you managed to organize this event and that 1,500 youngsters will come here. So may I have an applause for Ilko, please?
Thank you. Well, I'm very interested to hear what you think about the current developments. Our third guest is Maggie. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is originally from Bulgaria. I study and research media innovation together with Ilko, and that is how we know each other. For the last 5-6 years, I've been very passionate about the future of media, and I've been following that very carefully. What I'm particularly interested in doing myself is the future of entertainment, especially how storytelling and gaming intersect. And for the last 2 years, I've been making my own mixed reality games. So hopefully that perspective here today as well.
All right. And our fourth guest is Renato, one of the most entrepreneurial guys I know on YouTube. And Renato, introduce yourself.
Hi, I already introduced myself a little bit in the first panel. My name is Renato van Bloemenhuis. I'm a YouTuber, YouTube partner. Most famous is my Dutch YouTube show called the Renato Review Show. Every week I review products from the stores, and I taste them and tell them what I think about them. And I also have an international channel. I'm starting a fitness channel on Monday. And I'm just here to have some fun and talk with you guys.
One of the most fit YouTubers, I think, as well. All right, I want to start you guys off for the discussion with one question. A really simple question, which is the main topic of the panel as well. What do you think is the most important change we will see in the future of online video within the coming year or two? David?
Well, I think that's a development that started, well, a year, maybe 2 years ago, where YouTube started to implement more interactive tools, such as live stream, stuff like that. Annotations, which is, I think, 3 years old already. And I think that they're really going to start evolving that. I'm not really attending that many Google events, so I can't really tell you as much as these guys probably can. But that's just something that I've been thrown at by YouTube. Here's another thing that you can interact with your viewers. Here's more stuff that you can do, like live streaming. And that's really important, at least for me as a content creator. Interaction, definitely.
Okay, so more interaction in general. Do you guys agree? And Danny, for example, what do you think? Do you think, is it a trend you see in media in general as well?
Well, I had to think of something else. So before I react on the person next to me, you asked me to answer the question as well.
Okay.
And what I find quite interesting is to see in which situation our society is coming, which also says something about the role of YouTube, movies, and other media. So I think that we are living in a more and more becoming complex world. In 150 years, we went from 1 milliard people to 7 of the 12 that were ever born. Information is being overloaded. There is more and more information available. And I think that people, and this is also something we see from statistics, start using the internet in another way. So for 1 year, we see in the Netherlands, it's researched by Comscore, that we are using our laptops and computers less. And we start using our mobile devices even more. In 2013, this year, the double amount of mobile devices will be sold compared to computers and laptops. I think that video is the way to reduce complexity of subjects, but also we had Vera in advance. She is quite known in this environment, I think. But what you see her doing is making complex things quite easy because you can see it, she talks you through, and I think that from an entertainment perspective from now, it will be a more functional one in the future, and this is why it's so important that there are so many young professionals building videos, creating experience with that, and building a network as well, a young girls and boys network.
Okay, that sounds awesome, because you already see the trend from mass media to more personalized media in the last, I think, decade or something. And it's going to, for your idea, even continue even further, that it's going to be even a smaller crowd, a smaller audience, more personalized, more niche audience. All right, thank you. Maggie, what do you think is the biggest change we will see in media in the next 2 years?
It's quite hard to pick just one, I think, because things are changing quite fast. And I would agree with David that interactivity is going to be really important, and also with Danny that it's very much going to be on mobile and tablet. I think that's going to really impact how people create videos, what kind of format, what kind of context they expect people to watch videos at. But what I would like to add, perhaps, as a third change is I think there's going to be an even bigger mixture between professional content and grassroots content. I think a lot of the people here today really started on their own, with their own content, perhaps even as a hobby before starting to make it a career. But you see a larger and larger interest from brands and from companies to use online video as a channel, especially as a direct channel without any middleman between the brand and the consumer. And they're really going to want even bigger parts to be a part of this platform, to be part of YouTube even to an even greater extent. So I think in the future we'll really see a blend between what content is created from a personality, from an individual, and what content is created from a company or brand. And I think especially when it comes to, I mean, right now for example, you can say, well, this is a vlog, and this is a web series, and this is an advertisement. I think in the future those three things are going to blend even more together.
Okay, that's quite nice. And do you think that's going to be a good thing, or do you think it's going to be a bad thing, the fact that the two are going to blend together?
I think any time that something becomes popular, this is just a discussion we actually had in the break. Anytime something becomes popular, companies want a piece of it, and to some extent that removes the appeal of it for the people who were first there. It becomes a bit more commercial, a bit more mainstream. But on the other hand, I definitely see it as a positive thing because there'll be a lot more funding opportunities for original content. So a lot of people who have great ideas right now are limited by what they can afford themselves or what they can earn through advertising. And in the future, there will be huge advertising budgets available for people to create their own visions and really have the power to become producers in a much more major way. And I think that's very it's a huge opportunity.
That probably is, because what you see right now is that a lot of content creators indeed have very small budgets and that the budgets are growing. Renato, you, for example, you already have your own company within it.
Yeah, well, I do a lot of stuff with business because I love YouTube, but I also love making money. On Monday, I have a huge seminar about YouTube for businesses, and we've got law firms, we've got all kinds of business people that you would not associate with YouTube, but they see the possibilities in all that. So, and I think that also last year I was approached by all the big media companies and all kinds of brands and stuff because I review products on YouTube. Of course, I made it that way that they can find me, but I think that the whole blend, as my colleague here explains it, between the content that you create as content creators and commercial content that brands need to plug their products to the audience, I think they will become intertwined, and this product placement and everything that we just talked about with the YouTube networks will be more of like a natural thing.
You see indeed this grow into more network and commercial products. David, you are a long-time community member, and one of the guys that has seen this thing grow from the beginning till what it is right now, and I hopefully also what it will become in the future. What is this a change you see yourself, and what do you think will happen to this change?
Yeah, there we go.
Nope. It's only working when you're not talking.
I think so, yeah. I think the community will always be there on every step of the way for YouTube. I mean, at first we had like a lot of individuals who started to collaborate on videos. Now you see an entire gaming community starting to grow really, really big. So I'm not entirely understanding the question that you're trying to get out of me, but I think that we actually create our own community, and if there's a need for a community, then we'll just create something like that. Is that something that you're looking for in an answer, or?
Yeah, kind of. But I'm also trying to look, because in the beginning of YouTube, which we both were, there wasn't really any commercial thing going on. And with the event itself as well, we started as a group of people meeting up in the park, and we enjoyed ourselves. But this day, it is actually becoming, if you look at the venue, if you look at the things happening around it, we have to ask money for the tickets and stuff like that. It is becoming a commercial event. Although we are still a non-profit organization and we want to keep it that way because we want to do it for the community. The thing is becoming more and more commercial.
True. However, I think you have to understand that at least most of the YouTubers, maybe with the exception of Renato, who's always been the entrepreneur, like you said, actually started out as a joke or just as a tryout or for fun. But once you're getting, like myself, 5 million views a month, then, well, the opportunity is there to actually commercialize it a little bit with some sponsorships, a network instead of a normal YouTube partnership. And just like the other panel members just mentioned, I don't think that's a bad thing at all, being able to live from it and just continue to grow your content quality-wise.
Okay, thank you. Danny, this commercial trend is, I think, not something that is unique for online video. Is it something you have seen in other media as well? And what is the influence you have seen from it within other media? What can we expect from the online video community to happen?
To be honest, I think that we experience this development for the second time right now. Because first I saw this sponsored content thing in the 90s. And there was lots of budget for things that were happening on the internet because companies were not really known with the effectivity of campaigns. And it was the most important thing for them to be part of the internet, not to earn any money with it. So in 2000 we saw the internet bubble and budgets were splashed away from the internet, from all different types of content. And right now we see something that is called in science the authority crisis. Thanks to the crisis, thanks to the mess that the banks made, we stopped, and this is a development that will proceed in the future, we stopped trusting messages with a logo. And that's a really stressful thing for larger corporates because they want to influence the audience, but just broadcasting messages and buying signs next to the roads is becoming less and less effective. So this is the main reason I think why online video has got a great potential for the future. On the other hand, there are two things to be careful with. The first thing is that YouTube has got a very special position, and a lot of vloggers are really dependent on YouTube because their subscribers are part of the YouTube community. We saw that Facebook started selling sponsored messages. So the core of Facebook is that we decide what we post on Facebook, and that the social aspects of our content decides and is deciding which people will see the content. Right now, you almost only see advertisements on Facebook when you log in after a few days, and that means that the social network Facebook is becoming more and more a commercial platform. And I'm quite afraid that the same thing can or will happen to YouTube as well, especially now with the new channel design, which actually fits into the Google Plus design. So we have to be quite careful. I do not want to see it happen that Google uses the YouTube community to build an active Google Plus, because that can be the first building block of a domino play.
Does it damage YouTube in general, Danny? Does it damage not only the community, but YouTube as a company as well?
Well, right now, that's not the case. Of course, there are alternatives for YouTube, but there are also alternatives for Facebook, and there are also alternatives for banks. We can just stop using money and start sharing the things we have with each other. Then you do not need to pay any taxes.
But it's not that easy.
But that's not that easy, and that's the case with YouTube as well. So YouTube can go quite far with changing the models, claiming content based on content ideas, etc., before the community will become mad. So I think it's really, really, really important that the people that are here today, but also for the next editions, that your community starts discussing about the policy of YouTube and making sure that you will become a fist next to Google and also a sparring partner, so that in the future they will not change the core of YouTube, and that is that the content creators are the people behind the buttons.
So the community should keep the power within itself. David, I think you have something to say for that.
Yeah, actually, I know the trend that you just described pretty well. Just like the new layout that you just mentioned, which is a really big step towards Google Plus, indeed. However, you just mentioned like the community should make a fist and should just try to at least moderate it a little bit into their own thing. I never seen YouTube and Google listen to like the mainstream audience. You actually see that they paid the top YouTubers in the States to promote the channel. And you actually saw some of the other ones who were pretty big, like PewDiePie with 6 million subscribers, who just made a "I hate this banner" logo on his channel. So, and he actually shouted them out on Twitter as well, like, these guys are getting paid for promoting this crap. I don't think they're actually going to listen to a couple of million users complaining if they just can control the mass. So is there a solution for that? They're certainly not going to listen to me with 90,000 subscribers.
Maggie, I know you are really a forefighter of freedom in this case, and also kind of don't really. I think you don't really like the commercialization aspect of it. Do you think this is a bad thing, and do you think that Google acting the way it is, actually promoting the larger channels and not really listening to the smaller users in this case? What do you think the change is going to be? Do you think it's going to be bad?
Well, I very much agree with Danny, and I think it's really interesting that he brought it up, that the future of online video isn't in isolation. It's very much dependent on social networks and very much dependent on what happens to the rest of the industry. Personally, I didn't know about this incoming integration between Google Plus and YouTube, but I don't really feel that it needs to be a threat, especially because Google as a brand does not rely on each of its channels being profitable separately. So what could be nice about it is that if a certain channel, in this case YouTube, is not making profit on its own, it could use the global profits of the brand to promote the channel itself, which again I would say is an opportunity. And I personally don't think that Google Plus would take away something from YouTube. I think it could add something to it in terms of adding even greater breadth of activity on the internet. But what I also thought was interesting that you mentioned, Danny, was that you see trends coming and going. And I think that's quite interesting, especially because, let's say, David really has this perspective from being at the heart of the community, and he sees things happening as they come, whereas perhaps Danny has more of the perspective, okay, I've seen this in the past, I know what to expect in the future. And I think my perspective is really much more theoretical. I can really see media from a historical point of view and also a little bit from the academic point of view. And what really strikes me very much is this trends coming and going, and what you see right now, for example, with the length of video. Currently, everyone's talking about make videos as short as possible to keep the attention. But statistics, for example, are very quickly showing that people are investing more and more time watching longer videos. So I think, especially as YouTube moves out of the personal computer and into, let's say, the living room with the flat screen and the console entertainment center, you'll see that suddenly you're going from one-to-one model where you have this one person talking to another person wherever they are on the internet, really this really personalized communication. I think we'll see again a return of broadcasting. In a sense, you're one person, but you're now addressing the whole living room, you're addressing a group of people. And I think especially if you also combine that with the fact that media is becoming even more social than it currently is. So for example, your TV can also connect to the internet. You'll be able to watch content on YouTube, on your TV screen in the living room, and also talk about it at the same time from your living room with people in real time. I think that's really going to be, again, a change from short form to long form, from one-to-one to one-to-many. So you see these kind of things coming back again, and I think that's really the exciting thing.
But one of the changes Danny also said is the change to mobile. And while it is really easy to watch a long video on your computer screen or on your TV, mobile is not really made for long videos. Danny, do you think, or maybe I'll ask Renato about this. Renato, you don't really have long content. You have short content. Do you know whether your users actually watch this mainly on mobile or mainly on their computer?
Well, from my insights, I can see a lot of people watch videos from the Renato show on mobile, on mobile devices. But that has to do also with the demographics of my viewers. They are anywhere from 13 to 21. So I think in that group, a lot of people are using mobile devices. But you know, I think that's what we're going to get, more and more mobile. We're going to have a 4G network, which is unfolding right now. So I think, but there are many possibilities with online video on mobile devices. You can connect them to GPS systems like Foursquare. If you add video to a specific place, and video gets triggered when you check in, some stuff like that. So there are a lot of opportunities, gamification. If you use that with video on mobile devices, there are a lot of different things that we can do. So I think that's something that we'll see more of.
Is this also what you had in mind when you said, Danny, when you said that online video is being watched more and more on mobile devices?
Yes, that's true indeed. We will see, and that's actually happening, that the Internet of Things, which will be made possible thanks to the 4G network because of the capacity.
Maybe you can explain the Internet of Things for a little bit.
The Internet of Things means that every stupid item we use will get an internet connection. So your medicine box, your glasses, your watch, everything. And this means that when you're in the kitchen preparing your favorite recipe, that YouTube can be the bridge between relevant content and what you're doing in the kitchen. For instance, if you've got a camera in your kitchen and the camera registers that you're not good at cutting carrots, for instance, then at that moment, YouTube can just broadcast you a carrot tutorial. And another thing is that it's kind of scary though as well. You have to watch and to see the Google Glasses as well, which will change a lot of things in the vlogging industry, I think, as well. And to come back at your question, like how to manage that Google will start listening to us. The problem is, I work for these type of organizations. So I work as a consultant for larger corporates. And they listen to everyone. But they will start behaving to what people are telling if these people are becoming a threat. So their strategy right now is that the biggest threats will get money from YouTube, will be invited to the headquarters in the States or in the US, in the UK. You're being treated as a huggy bear. And the only way to make sure that you as a community will be a party that Google will listen to is to make sure that these people will become and stay part of the community, and that there will be some part of objective discussion, maybe here on this event every year, about what do we think about Google, what do we think about the developments, and then it should not be a single vlogger that calls Google to say, hi, I've got a complaint. No, this organization with today 1,500 attending vloggers, and maybe in the upcoming years, and maybe in cooperation with other communities, you will manage to gather tens of thousands of people with a common opinion. And in that case, you will be a stronger party to talk with Google, because you can scare them with the idea that you have a lot of content and people that could be moved to, for instance, Vimeo.
Okay, this question is for any of the panel members. Do you think networks will play a role in this? Or do you think this is a thing that we as a community should manage on our own? Anybody? Nope.
I think that right now you create content, and the content will lead to a network. And in the future you will see that people will form different types of networks on the internet. So the last 100 years we were part of globalization. And what I see happening right now is deep globalization. So we try to find some smaller communities again where we want to be part of. And it could be quite possible that vloggers connect themselves to communities, and that they start creating content that comes out of the community. So the community asks for or have wishes for several types of content, and then you make the content for an existing community. And this is also a revenue model. Right now, more and more larger corporates, they're hiring people to make videos. No one watches them because they're not funny, not interesting. The quality is quite low.
I would have to disagree with that, because a lot of commercial content can be funny, and I think, David, I think you can answer this one best. You already see a lot of commercial content and a lot of commercial videos out there. Do you like them? And what do you think of them? How they can be improved?
It really varies, to be honest. We all know the Volkswagen commercials who got viral on YouTube. They were pretty good. However, there's also a lot of terrible content out there. We should just stay on television and don't even come near the internet ever again.
Do you think there's a good way to make a commercial video?
Yeah, definitely. The internet follows different rules. Well, not written rules, just stuff that the community makes up that they like. And well, here we go again with brand integration. But if you make it like a YouTuber's own thing, then it actually works way better than a prefabricated TV commercial.
How much control should you give a YouTuber when creating a video? Do you think most of the control should be with the YouTuber or with the content, or with the company that is actually asking for the video itself?
I think a good combination works best, because, like, especially the big companies like Coca-Cola, they don't ever going to pay a YouTuber a large sum of money and just let go of the entire concept and just upload whatever you want. It's not going to happen at all. But the creative personality in our videos, especially the sponsored ones, should actually be there and shouldn't be removed by too many regulations.
Is there any content, more in general, not specifically commercial content, that you cannot make? Is there topics you should stay away from? Is there stuff that is unethical?
Actually, yeah, of course there is, obviously. And then you have to look at what your audience is, because I will never advertise alcohol or tobacco or in any way like that. But I think like stuff that I wouldn't do is a brand that I don't like, because my videos are really personal. And for instance, if I were to make a video about a headset, and I was getting paid a lot of money for it to tell my audience it's good, but it's not good, then I'm just not going to do it.
All right, that sounds reasonable. Danny, do you actually think there are things that are unethical in online video? And where is the border? And as a follow-up question, has it changed?
So I studied law, and you're now asking an ethical question that leads to an ethical dilemma inside my head, because every lawyer type of person will tell you that there is one rule that you shouldn't pass, and that's the rule of law. So to be honest, in the beginning, I don't think that there are certain topics you should avoid. It's important to have discussion and debates on all different types of topics. But it's true that on YouTube, especially when you're a vlogger, you're building a brand. So it doesn't make sense to just use every single possible topic on your channel, because it will lead to that people will not understand anymore what you're doing. But in the beginning, I do not think that there are topics that should be banned from YouTube. Of course not, no.
All right. As a last question for all four of you, what do you think is the best thing that is coming out just in the future of online video? What one thing is it that you are looking forward to? And then we go to questions from the public. I think we have two guys with a mic already walking around somewhere. Nope. Nope. Can we get two volunteers to walk around with a mic? All right. David, what is the one thing that you are looking forward to in the future of online video? And this can be anything within the next century.
The next century. I'm going to keep it really simple and just going to keep it on my own content that I make. And I think gaming and entertainment is finally starting to grow up in the Netherlands. So that's something I'm really looking forward to see how far it actually goes.
So more entertainment. Then Maggie,
Yes.
if I can give this one to you, you study entertainment and you look into this a lot. Do you agree with this, and what do you think is the biggest thing you look forward to?
Well, personally, for me, of course, the gaming and entertainment angle is the one that I'm really looking forward to the most. I think you can already see with the PlayStation 4 that sharing in social is going to be really big for online video. So I'm really excited about how, as you're playing a game, even if it's a single-player game, you can connect in a very meaningful way with your friends. But to me, it really goes beyond that. So beyond just video games, what I'm excited for is the day when I can connect to a fiction or a brand or a game through every different channel that I can in a different way. So the way I would, if I would watch video on, let's say, my TV screen, and I would connect to a character through my mobile phone and get, let's say, interactive content through my PC.
I think there's a word for that.
Yeah, there is a word for that, and it's transmedia. But it doesn't have to be complicated jargon. At the end of the day, what I think is very exciting is to, anywhere I am, in any context, at any time, to be able to touch a unique aspect of the things that I'm passionate about. And for me, of course, that's storytelling, but it can really be also very much about the real world. So if there's a certain YouTube personality that I'm a fan of, that I'll be able to connect in more ways than one. And I think that's something that we already have more than ever before, but in the future, it will be even greater, I think.
All right, thank you. Renato, I'll give Danny the last word, but Renato, what is the one thing you are looking forward to in the future of online video?
I think 4G. I think if the mobile network just gets stronger and stronger. I mean, the changes now and 2 years ago is already tremendous. 2 years ago, you couldn't watch, that good definition of video, and right now you can.
What is the main advantage there then?
You see what?
What is the main advantage?
I think you can see more content, more quality. Nowadays, yesterday I was in a movie theater. It was a new movie called App, where they have a second screen where you can watch certain parts of the movie on your smartphone while you're watching the movie screen. But the app didn't work because there was no internet connection inside the movie theater. A lot of money spent on something that doesn't work. So I think if all that improves, I think we're going to have more fun.
So a better infrastructure. All right. Danny, last word. What do you think is the best thing we can look up to?
To be honest, I'm so proud because we are here today in Holland, and all the newspapers are writing about crisis, financial problems, unemployment, labor shortage, whatever. But I really think that the internet that brought something like YouTube, that brought something like vloggers, is really something of the younger generation, and it's one of the few things that's really of the younger generation, because this is really a world that is inaccessible for older people that didn't have a camera in their phones, that didn't have the creativity and freedom on the younger age to become such a creative person. So my hope for the future and something that will change is that all these people will know how to create creative content and have something that they can do themselves. And I'm really proud at all these young people over here today. And I wish you all the luck.
All right, thank you. With that, I would like to close the industry morning. I would like to thank everybody from the panels, everybody, both my panel leaders, of course, music as well. Thank you, Joep. We are going to continue with the community program in, I think, about 20 minutes. I already see a lot of people coming in. Welcome. This is the end of the industry program. Thank you, guys. And we'll see you guys in about 20 minutes.
Dutch YouTube Gathering. Dutch YouTube